Israel has been fighting against Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis and other proxy groups of Iran in the Middle Eastern region since October 7, 2023, when Hamas invaded Israel, breaching its southern border. In that terror strike, more than 1,200 Israelis lost their lives. The attack boiled the bloods of the Israeli politicians, and they dropped more than 3,000 bombs on Gaza on the same day under Operation Iron Sword. Now the war has stretched more than 300 days. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on November 2023 promises Israelis and Israeli citizens that Israel will go after every individual who was linked to the planning of October 7 attack. They have already eliminated Ibrahim Birari, Salah al-Arori, Marwa Isha, Mohammed Reza Zaidi, and the Hezbollah leader or the right-hand man of the Hezbollah chief, the Hassan Nasrarullah's right man, the Fawad Shakur, has already been eliminated through the bombing, through the airstrike in Beirut, the capital of Lebanon. On July 31, the Israel dared Iran by eliminating Hamas political head Ismail Haniyeh, who was on Iran's capital, Tehran, and he was there as a state guest of Iran. He was there for the swearing-in ceremony of Iran's new president, Pezeshkian. This was a daring exercise that has been conducted by MOSSAD. That means the Mossad infiltrated deep inside Tehran. Now on August 1, the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, has eliminated one of his most wanted men in Gaza, the Mohammed Dief Ibrahim al-Masri, also known as Mohammed Dief. We need to know about him. We need to know about him and we need to discuss his life cycle to understand the psychological mindset of any terrorist. We means as an world citizens, we need to know that what the terrorists do, how do they work, how do they collected their money. These are the things very important to understand the psychology of a terrorist. And the Israel most wanted man for almost 30 years is now gone to the 72 hoods. You know that what is the concept of 72 hoods in a particular religions. Now we need to know about who was Mohammed Dief, how he worked, where he was born. The Mohammed Dief was born in 1965 in the Khan Yunis refugee camp in Gaza Strip. He was born in a family who fled Israel or was expelled from Israel during the 1948 Arab-Israel War. His family was originally from Al-Quibia, a former town near Ramleh in Mandatory Palestine. According to the Shin Bet, what is Shin Bet? Shin Bet is Israel's internal security agency. So according to the Shin Bet, either his father or his uncle had participated in sporadic raids into Israel conducted by Palestinian Fedayeen in 1950s. So you can clearly understand or see that he got encouragement or zeal to fight against Israel either from his father or his uncle. There is not enough data or information about his early life and his upbringing, but there are some data we will going to tell you that. He reportedly dropped out of school to support his low-income family and his father. As a result, he worked with his father in a furniture shop and later they started a small poultry farm. He was not an uneducated person. He had done his graduation in chemistry in 1998 from Islamic University of Gaza. He was a talented person. During his university days, he had a passion for theatre. As a result, he established his own theatre group called the Returners. Why the name Returners was given? He provided the name Returners in the reference to Palestinian refugees longing to return to the lands they lived on the day called Nakba. What is Nakba? The so-called ethnic cleansing of Palestinians by Israelis. These are the theories that has been created by the Israeli populations, because these are the things has been created to create the environment of terrorisms. Therefore, in his theatre group, he played a number of roles, including those of the historical figures. The historical figures means the figures, those who are responsible for so-called Palestine. Now, the Dief became the member of Hamas in 1987. I have already talked about Hamas in my last video, the last video related to the Ismail Haniyeh. If you are interested, please go back to my list, or I will going to attach my video at the end of this video. But for your greater understanding, let me give you a one-line reminder. The Hamas was established in 1987, the few weeks the outbreak of First Intifada against the Israeli occupation. It was founded by a Palestinian imam, that means the Hamas was founded by a Palestinian imam, an activist whose name was Ahmed Yashin. He was eliminated by Israel in 2004, and he was eliminated by an helicopter gunship that fired the missile towards him. Dief was arrested by Israeli authorities in 1989 for his involvement with Hamas. But after 16 months of detention, he was released in a prisoner exchange. Soon after his release, he helped Hamas to establish a notorious Al-Qassam brigade, the brigade which is responsible for suicide bombing, missile making and smuggling of guns and drugs within Israel and Gaza. Dief was close friend or the close towards Imad Akel and Yahya Aish. Yahya Aish and Imad Akel trained Dief in bomb making. Both of them, that means the Akel and Aish, were assassinated by IDF in 1993 and 1996 respectively. After their assassination, Dief reduced his profile to avoid being targeted by IDF. He began living a solitary life after that. But he makes his presence felt in the early 2000s when several suicide bombing attacks were conducted against Israeli police and army personnel. As a result, Dief was arrested by the Palestinian National Authority at Israel's request. But he escaped in December with assistance from some of his guards. After he escaped jail term, he became the head of the Al-Qassam Brigade July 2002. There was another reason behind him being the head of the Al-Qassam, because in that year, Israel assassinated the former head Salah Mustafa Mohammed Shahidi. He was assassinated by IDF. As a result, Hamas needed a new man and Dief was appointed as the new man, and he revolutionized the Al-Qassam Brigade. Now we need to know what he did. As the commander of Al-Qassam Brigade, he was thought to be the main organizer of raids within Israel. As a result, 2 IDF soldiers were killed and his brigade captured a IDF soldiers, or you can say the IDF soldiers, named Gilad Shalit in June 2006. Dief and his gang deceived Mossad and Shin Bet for 5 years about Gilad Shalit's locations. Dief had linked with Iranian regime and his clandestine Quds force. What is Quds force? The Quds force is a special force created by Iran that provided training to the resistance of Axis that has been created by Iran. Groups that are included in the resistance of Axis are Hezbollah, Hamas and Houthis, and some of the groups, those who are operating in Syria and Iraq. All of them are being trained by this Quds force. Dief also overseen the transfer and manufacturing of Iranian Fajr 5 rocket components in Gaza. The Fajr 5 rockets is the rocket that was the base of the Qassam rockets or Al-Qassam rockets that has been used by Hamas for several times to target Israeli cities. He had a relationship with the slain Iranian general Qasem Soleimani. And in a letter, Qasem Soleimani had called Dief a dear brother and a living martyr. The Dief was a dangerous man for Israel. He hunted Israeli uncountable times. In 2015, the US State Department added Dief and the 3 other Hamas leaders to the American list of special designated global terrorists. In December 2023, the European Union added him to their terror blacklist. As a result, this has blocked his free movement around Europe and also banned doing any businesses with any European companies. Now we need to know the shadow unit that was created by Dief to control Al-Qassam Brigade within. The Dief created a shadow unit within Al-Qassam Brigade. Why that unit was created? We need to know that why that unit was created. The unit was created to assert his dominance within the group, to use the group's asset independently against Israel without the consent of the group's other leaders. There is a video available in the internet about that group, and in that video they said that, and I quote, the unit treats enemy captivities honorably in the lines within the rules of Islam and provides for their needs, taking into account the treatment given to the prisoners of resistance in the hands of the enemy. These are very good words that has been used in that video, but these are all false. They have mentioned that they do provide treatment in accordance with Islam. That means they do indulge in acute violence, because in Islam it encourages the violence against the captives. So whatever the words they use the word Islam. That is very important. That is the key word over here. As they said, they do treat prisoners in accordance with Islam. That means they do indulge in violence. They do indulge in other kinds of things that encourages the violence. The Dief has always been credited for transformation that he brought within the Al-Qassam Brigade. He made the Al-Qassam Brigade visible to the world, to Israel's spy agency Mossad. Now the assassination attempts. Several assassination attempts has been conducted on Dief several times since 2001, but he lived a long life. Long life means from 2001 until his death in 2024. That means he is a cat with 9 lives. He survived. The first attempt on his life was an airstrike by IF in 2001. The Israel tried to eliminate Dief again in September 2002 by a car bomb, and there is a video footage available on the internet of that car bomb attack, and in that video the Dief was dragged by a man covering in blood from the burning car. Again in 2003 and 2006, Israel tried to eliminate Dief by striking a house that hosted a meeting of Hamas leadership. It is also said that in July 2006 attempt was an airstrike on the house of one of the Dief's lecturers in university when Dief was visiting him. After 2006, Israel stopped attacking Dief because there were some political reasons. What were those political reasons? Because of the Oslo Peace Accord that was signed between Israeli leaders and PLO, the Yasser Arafat. The head of the PLO at that time was Yasser Arafat, and Israeli Prime Minister of that time. The Oslo Accord was signed and 2-state solutions was given. And there were several politicians, including Benjamin Netanyahu, those who were not backing that 2-state solution. They were backing the entire Israel, and Hamas was backing the entire Palestine. As a result of that, Hamas was provided some funds, some helps to go on with their agenda of entire Palestine. That was helping the politicians like Benjamin Netanyahu to came up with an ideology that was promoting the entire Israel. But it did not go long, and they resumed. That means the Israel resumed their operation against Daesh during the 2014 Gaza war, on which Israel conducted airstrike against Daesh's family house in Sheikh Radwan in Gaza City. Daesh escaped unharmed. Later, it was confirmed by MOSSAD in 2015. In 2021 again, during the Israel-Palestine conflict, Israel again tried to eliminate him twice, but they failed again. In October 2023, during the Israel-Hamas wars, Daesh's father's house was hit by an Israeli airstrike that killed Daesh's brother, nephew and niece, but he was lived. He escaped the attack unharmed again. But at last, Israel got success on July 13, 2024. This time he was targeted in an Israeli strike in the Al-Mawasi neighborhood of Khan Yunis in the southern Gaza. The IDF reported that one of the Daesh associates and the mastermind of the October 7 attack, the Khan Yunis brigade commander, the Rafa Saleme, was among dead. That means 2 men was assassinated on that day, was Mohammed Dief and Rafa Saleme. Both of were engaged in October 7 design. Hamas, meanwhile, has denied that the Daesh had died. They have always denied. This time they have also denied too. But on August 1, the IDF confirmed the world about the Daesh's killing and claimed that they have eliminated Daesh at last. And they were pretty sure, because if they were not sure, they would not have come to the TV and told the world that they have eliminated. Otherwise, the Mossad has denied it. They would have come to the TV and told the world that the Daesh is still living, the cat with 9 lives, as I said. As a result of the several assassination attempts on Daesh, he became almost paralyzed. He almost became paralyzed. After the 2006 assassination attempt, Daesh spent 3 months in Egyptian hospital for his skull treatment, which was damaged badly as a result of sharp nail penetration. And he continued to take daily tranquilizer to treat headaches. It was believed that 7 assassination attempts has lost Daesh an eye and several limbs. Hamas never confirmed it or denied it. As a result of that, we have to accept that the Daesh was almost paralyzed and he lost his eye and limbs. He was a very reclusive man. It is believed that he occasionally took help of wheelchair for movements, for going somewhere within Gaza. And he was a man who was very important for Hamas to conduct the strike within Israel. For Palestinians, he became a folk hero for his survival of many assassination attempts. He holds the nickname called the mastermind among Palestinians, because he was responsible of several suicide attacks within Israel. And after the assassination, as I said, after the assassination of the Ismail Haniyeh, the war is becoming broader. Iran has already threatened Israel of greater war or the enlargement of the war. Japan has already expressed his concern. Russia is talking about the greater war to bring the peace in the Middle Eastern region. China is also towing the same line. United States and the UK, as well as France, are talking about the groups that are being conducted by Iran to disturb the regions. So things are very ugly and the dark in case of the Middle Eastern regions. And we are observing that the world is slowly going into the situations of war-like situations. And this needs to be handled carefully. The UN head, Antonio Guterres, has already expressed the concern that this could lead to the greater war and the expanding war that nobody wants. Nobody wants a war between Israel and Iran, because if the war between Israel and Iran would happen, then this war would spread in Syria, in Iraq, in Libya, as well as the other countries in the regions, Yemen. Pakistan will also get involved because Pakistan is the stooge of the United States. United States use Pakistan for its own use. As a result of that, we will going to see the greater war, and the war will spread across Europe too, because Europe is linked with Turkey, and Turkey has shown its interest and condemned the killing of Ismail Haniyeh. They have already named a Mossad leader which is nowhere in existence. They have named because to make that thing too much legitimate, and they are playing that game. They are playing the name game since the assassinations of a leaders of a descent of Saudi Arabia during the time of COVID. So these are the things that Turkey is doing. Turkey is pushing these regions into the greater war, and they are linked with the Muslim Brotherhood. Muslim Brotherhood also have interest in that regions, and Muslim Brotherhood is being used by some of the countries to foment the war in the regions, because Muslim Brotherhood has different kinds of ideology apart from Hamas, Hezbollah and Houthis. So we need to be careful of doing the politics in that regions, taking care of the situations, taking care of the events that are being unfolded at this time. This is the end of the topic, guys. If you have any question regarding this topic or any other things, then please drop your comments on the comment sections. I will definitely give you the answers. And for next videos, I will going to provide an email address through which you can contact me. So thank you very much. Thank you for your support again.